Paris, November 21st, 2020. That morning, a tabloid newspaper lay on our living room table, and it felt like a permanent stain. The air in the apartment was suffocating, thick with things unsaid, with disapproval and fear. Every little sound, a pan sizzling on the stove, a door slamming, made my heart jump. My uncle, Jacques Cartier, wasn't even looking at me anymore. He looked right through me, his face completely shut off. His silences were so much worse than any shouting. They meant he'd already made up his mind, and nothing could change it. Dinner that evening was pure torture. My Aunt Fatou had made chicken yassa, a dish that smelled of our home in Senegal, with lemon and sweet onions. She was trying so hard to pretend everything was normal. But the smell, usually so comforting, just made my stomach churn. Suddenly, my uncle barked, so Maya, slamming his fork down, cared to explain this circus. He pushed the newspaper to the center of the table with just his fingertips, like it was contaminated. "Jacques, not at the table," my aunt pleaded, but her voice was weak. "Yes, at the table," he shot back, "because this is where we'll pay the price for your circus." With our peace, maybe even with my job, my cousin Vinette jumped in. "It's just lies, uncle. They make up anything to sell papers. Lies." "Lies," he roared, pounding the table so hard the glasses rattled. "There's a photo. She's right there, in that African dress, smiling like a fool while he flirts with her." My voice trembled with anger and humiliation as I cried out, he wasn't flirting. He just spoke to me, that's all, out of politeness. He let out a harsh laugh, getting up from his chair. "At the Élysée, the president doesn't talk to cleaners out of politeness. Has he already pulled his little act on you, given you his personal email too?" My blood ran cold. How could he possibly know? I shot a panicked look at Aunt Fatou. She just looked down, ashamed. She must have told him, probably under pressure in the privacy of their room. "Ah, you see," he crowed, reading the truth on my face. "You don't mind risking all our necks for your little Cinderella fantasy. Well, I do. I have a family to protect. A job I could lose if they start calling me the brother-in-law of the president's mistress." His words hit me like a physical blow. I started to tremble. "That's not what it is." I stammered. "Yes, it is exactly that," he barked. "So here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, you call this Claire Vidal and you quit your job. Then you pack your bags and you find somewhere else to go. I don't want to see you here." Ever again, the silence that followed was absolute. Aunt Fatou was crying softly. My cousins just stared at their plates, their faces pale. "Jacques, she has nowhere to go." Aunt Fatou whispered, "That's not my problem." She wanted to play with the big shots. Now she can deal with it. I stood up, my legs shaking. I looked him right in his eyes, which were bloodshot with anger and fear. "You won't have to say it again," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I'll leave." I walked to my room and closed the door. A few minutes later, there was a soft knock. It was my cousin Jean, Maya. He doesn't really mean it. "It's just the pressure." I shook my head. "Yes, he does. And he's right. I'm putting you all at risk." I sank onto the bed. My Parisian dream, born under the golden lights of the Élysée Palace, had just shattered against the walls of this tiny apartment. The reality was cruel. I was an intruder, an undocumented immigrant with nothing, whose naive dreams were a threat to the family who had taken me in. Jean sat next to me and took my hand. "What will you do?" I closed my eyes, and an image of the president's intense gaze, his calm voice, flashed in my mind. "It would be a pleasure." I took a deep breath. "I'm going to write."